If you've been on this channel before, you probably know that not all mobility exercises are created equally. Some are very efficient, very beneficial, and some are a little bit subpar, if you will. And today we're gonna check out some of the peak efficiency mobility exercises, so you can choose a single one of these exercises and use them as your complete mobility routine if you so choose. And if you wanna take more of these, you're gonna be amazed at how fast you're making progress. So if you're ready, let's go and have some fun. Now let's start out with something very easy, very beginner friendly, and very simple to replicate. We're going to place our toes on the ground, lengthening our foot musculature already, which is an amazing bonus to have. Most people don't stretch their feet. And the other leg is going to be completely extended. If you can, sit down fully on your heel. That would be amazing. If you can't, over time, you will get there. Don't worry about it. Push forward, lengthening our arms, and working our anterior chain on the right side all the way up to our fingertips. And we're also working a tiniest bit on ankle flexion in the front leg. And from here, we're gonna switch backwards, fold forward in our hip, work our way forward to our toes, and pull our upper body as closely to the leg as possible, working on our posterior chain on the left side. So now we're switching between anterior stretch on the right, posterior stretch on the left, and we're targeting pretty much every single joint and every single muscle in our entire body. And all you need to do to work on the other side is switch it up. Keep your toes on the ground, keep the other leg fully extended, move forward, arch your back, go into complete spinal extension, lengthen your entire anterior chain, and then fold forward, touching and working on your posterior chain on the right side. If your range of motion is a little bit shorter, don't worry about it. You can work with your hands here. Push forward until you do not need the support anymore. Extend your arms and pull back as much as you can. If this is the end of your range of motion, don't worry about it. It'll get better over time. And then, once again, you can place your hands on the ground, just like so, and grab forward as much as you can. And this way, you can support yourself during the movement until you have the necessary range of motion, strength, and control to push forward all the way and to fold forward all the way. Now this next one will require a massive amount of strength, but will also build insane amounts of coordination and flexibility. And the strength part is pretty much a bonus for your mobility work. We're gonna start in complete ankle extension in both legs. And once again, by pushing down all the way, we are lengthening our tibialis, lengthening our ankles, and this will be our starting position just to take off as much pressure off our lumbar spine as we can. We're gonna need that later. What we're gonna do from here is sit up, hands on the ground, toes on the ground, elevate our hips, stretching our entire posterior chain, and knees down, ankles extended, upper body upright, push your hip forward, lengthening your anterior chain. And now from here, stay with me. We're gonna bend backwards as far as we can, lengthening our entire anterior chain slowly in a controlled fashion. Now we're gonna need all that anterior chain strength to pull up once again, push our hips down, and once again take off all the pressure of our back before we move into the next repetition. Toes on the ground, hands on the ground, complete posterior chain stretch, and if you have the range of motion, up on your tippy toes, down once again, reverse this movement, reverse that movement, push your hips forward, bend back as much as you can, push forward and take the pressure off. I would advise to be very careful with this one. And once again, if your range of motion is very short, don't worry about it. If this is the maximum of your capability, and if this is the maximum of your capability here, that is absolutely amazing. Just working on it is more than enough. And over time, trust me, it will get better, especially if you like and subscribe to this channel. To be honest with you, I don't have any friends and I'm scared of dying by myself. Don't do that to me. Now this next one has the added bonus of working a lot on spinal rotation, which is one of the things that most people don't work on and which leads to immense amounts of problems, especially the older you get and the more fragile your spine becomes. We're gonna start out in a deep squat position, both feet flat on the ground. Once again, if this is the end of your range of motion, don't worry about it. You will get better. I will help you get better. Concentrate. Stay with me. We're gonna start with internal rotation, in one leg, rolling over our toes. Once again, ankle extension, external rotation on the other side, 90-90 seated position. Turn your upper body sideways, bring your hands down to the ground, and now you're gonna bring your face down as low as you can. We're also stretching our chest and our shoulders, and we have complete spinal rotation, especially if we turn our head to the side. And then we're gonna sit up, reverse, down into our starting position, and repeat in the other direction. Now this one is a very fluent movement. It doesn't require as much strength as the last one, but it does require a lot of coordination and a lot of mobility if your range of motion is short. If you don't have the strength to move through it, hands on the ground, help yourself out. Slowly, controlled, turn down, all the way, lengthening your quads and your hip flexors and turning your entire spinal musculature. And then once again, with your hands on the ground, help yourself out and switch directions to the other side. You can do it slow, you can do it fast, and that's what she said. Now this one is by far one of my favorites, and not just because it works on your mobility, but also because it requires a lot of strength and control that over time, if you can go for the full range of motion, is going to once again work your entire body. We're gonna start out in a wide parallel position with both legs completely extended. And the first part of this exercise is one that you should master anyway, which is the Cossack squat. All the way down, external hip rotation on one side, all the way up, all the way down, external hip rotation on the other side. Once you have mastered this movement, you've already worked on your adductors, your hamstrings, and your posterior chain. And now we're gonna switch between pushing our knee down, pushing our hip forward, right hand behind the right leg, which is the extended one. And from here, we're gonna push our hip up, lengthening our entire anterior chain from our toes, working through our quads, our hip flexors, our lats, and our obliques to our chest and shoulders. And then we're gonna move forward. Push forward once again, strengthening our posterior chain, hands on the ground, moving up, stretching our posterior chain, and repeating the entire move on the other side. External hip rotation, knee on the ground, push forward, activating your posterior chain, left hand behind the left leg, and now we're going to require a lot of strength to push up, lengthen our right side as much as we can, all the way to our fingertips before we reverse. Move up, stretching our posterior chain, and repeat on the other side. Works a lot on coordination, a lot on flexibility, a lot on strength, especially in our legs, and especially on the three major problem zones when it comes to flexibility and mobility in general, which is the ankle, the knee, and the hips. And that's it. 4 full body mobility exercises. They'll help you work on every single joint, on every single muscle. You can do all of them, or hell, pick just one of them and work on it until you feel satisfied. And once you have perfectly mastered that one, move on to the next one. You can do it for just 1 minute a day, but please just do it. Just do it, and trust me, you will not regret working on your mobility, especially the older you become. I'm 32, I feel like shit most of the time, and I am more limber than most, so I cannot imagine how bad it must feel to not be able to touch your toes, to not be able to turn your entire back, and to not be able to get your body into whatever position you feel like getting it into. So if I can leave you with anything, then it is please you don't even have to do my exercise, just do any freaking mobility exercises so I can make sure that you are healthy. And with that said, that's all the time I have left for you today. Please subscribe and like. I do stuff like that all the time. Captain Cairo, peace out.